Hi, today I'm going to address a topic that a lot of people are dealing with, and that's autism and ADHD, or ADD actually. So some of these attention deficit disorders or hyper attention deficits or whatever you want to call them, you want to think about what's going on inside, what's going on around you, what you've been exposed to, and what nutrients you might be either deficient in, or maybe you've got excesses of toxins and your body's trying to deal with these things. Now, there have been so many studies and reports done about all the dyes in the foods and all these different things, but sugar definitely is one of the factors involved, sugars and carbohydrates, and those sometimes in those packaged and processed foods are accompanied with other ingredients, and some of them are from soy, some of them are from our cow products, from corn products that have, these are byproducts that have been put into our foods. A lot of the cereals that we revolved around as children and relied on, and some of those breads and those cakes and cookies that were in packages, those could have created a lot of imbalance inside of your gut. So what we'll talk about today is, this is also a piggyback from my previous video on SpectraCell Labs, and I pulled up the one on autism, and I just wanted to go over because, again, we've got some common denominators here that are come into play, because we're not just talking about lead and we're not talking about all the metal toxicity. Well, aluminum is one of them that we really have to take into consideration, because so many people cook with aluminum foil, and now they have changed the cans and the inside of the cans for all the canned products. So for your child's sake and safety, and for your own safety, you really have to look into those matters, because these toxic levels, even some of the fish products that, we relied on, tuna for so long, and some of the mercury levels and things like that. Now, in order to get our body to be able to detox and get rid of some of that stuff and get stabilized, you have to really look at what's going on when we put what we're putting in our mouth, when we're putting it. We got the 5 W's here, and how much you can tolerate at one sitting, so, and then realizing that throughout the day, you're spacing your time so that when your blood sugar gets to, it should last 3 to 4 hours for your blood sugar to be leveled off. And you want the right foods to be able to do that. But there might be some other things that are causing some instabilities and some agitation and causing some pain for you. Pain, fatigue, and insomnia is what I talked about in the last video and today. And like I said, we're going to talk about autism. So let's talk about what these common denominators are. We're going back to the vitamin A, vitamin D. We talked about how that is huge. It's not just from being out in the sun, it's from getting it from vegetation that is grown in the sun. So you want to bring some of that vitamin D into you, and it's not just from milk, which we were all indoctrinated into thinking that we're going to get our vitamin D from our milk. Carnitine, zinc, magnesium, vitamin B6, which is a cofactor for the neurotransmitters of serotonin and dopamine. Vitamin B12 impairs methylation detoxification, which causes neurological damage responsible for many autistic symptoms. So there are some people that have methylation problems, and there are methylation type situations where you have to understand not only the foods, what your body, the ability for your body to absorb and detoxify or break down foods. And if there is a methylation process, you may be dealing with something a little bit more if it's a genetic factor that that it has been APOE, I believe, and some of the other MTHFR genes can demonstrate or exhibit a little bit more of a higher level of sensitivities. Vitamin B1. This deficiency is linked to delayed language development, and we're talking about growth and development of the brain. because if these are not introduced during pregnancy, not just from a capsule and a vitamin, from your food, if your mother did not eat appropriately and there was alcohol involved at all before her pregnancy with you, there may have been some deficiencies, with you. And we're not blaming anybody. We're trying to find what is your best scenario. What can you take into your body now? And what can you do for yourself to stabilize some of these situations? A lot of it is with glucose and with your cortisol levels and all these different type of things. And especially for your children, what are they exposed to and what are you going to offer them is for a form of food. Glutathione and cysteine, vitamin C, which a lot of doctors I've heard even say, oh, it just goes in and goes out. Well, guess what? So does sugar. It goes in and goes out. And the more sugar you drink and ingest, it's going to go in and go out. And it stresses your kidneys. It stresses your pancreas, puts a lot of inflammation into your body, into your joints and everything else, and sets you up to be a donor for all the bugs out there. So if you want to invite all those bugs in, then you can just give yourself a lot of sugar and carbs and everybody will come visit you. Anyway, glutamine. Blood levels of this amino acid, which acts as a neurotransmitter, we're talking about all those chemical imbalances, are particularly low in autistic children. Glutamine also helps prevent leaky gut syndrome, which can exacerbate autistic symptoms. So what's going on in your gut, in your intestine, any of those leaky situations, which also can lead to other leaky situations in your body where things are just not functioning up to par, then we start developing swelling and all kinds of issues and all these dermatological problems. Folate, oral folate therapy can resolve symptoms of autism in some cases, particularly in autistics with genes that impair folate-dependent enzymes. So our enzymes are connected to our vitamin D absorption, and you want to know, like, are you going to just go in and take a bunch of supplements, or are you going to try to eat and then supplement as you need to get those levels to where they need to be functional? And so here we have nutritional considerations very quickly. ADHD and autism, of course, are on the rise. So we want to include our omega-3 fatty acids, which are very key. But there is a measure of omega-6 to omega-3 ratios. A lot of people say peanuts are not good for you. I'm going to say if you're getting a valuable peanut that is organic, not filled with mold and not sprayed with a bunch of junk, then you might be able to tolerate a peanut. But until you have reduced all the stresses of food, don't introduce those peanuts yet, especially if you've been told you have a peanut allergy, which is related to a legume allergy. These allergies are connected in some way to certain families of foods. So think about that. Zinc is considered the mood mineral. Vitamins and autism. So all the vitamins we've been told about, what are they called? Vitamin. These are minerals. They're vital minerals. Okay? And if you don't get those vital minerals it's not just about taking a vitamin when you're pregnant. You've got to eat properly. I was eating junk, some of the junk. I was told to drink beer to have breast health. I mean, for milk for my children. These were all myths, and these were all these old tales. Do not listen to that stuff. There might be some value to it. There is some connection and value, but you must understand it to understand what you need. Because in some of those beers, it comes from different grains, and some of those grains do have value. But beer is an alcohol. You don't want to be alcohol induced. Beer, having breast milk for an alcohol problem, Magnesium and vitamin B6. Okay, so those two in combination, they work together. the role of neurotransmitters. You want your child's neurotransmitters to be working. These chemical imbalances can cause huge mental health issues, and my sister dealt with that. I did deal with a lot of anxiety and depression, but most of it was because I didn't know how to take care of myself and to introduce these nutrients into my body, and then give myself some pause to take care of not being that caregiver who could, heal everybody or help everybody. An amino acid that improves carnitine behavior, okay? Carnitine is the primary function is to transport fatty acids. These fatty acids are very important in your body to be able to function each part of your organs, the vital organs. They have to be functioning in order for everything else in your circulation, in your heart, and your brain. Those are the vital organs, and the kidneys and that liver. Okay, so you're going to take a multifaceted approach, which is what integrative holistic medicine practitioners do, as well as functional medicine and nutrition counselors do. When you talk about cognitive function, there's so much more to review and evaluate, and I'm not going to go into all that today, but if you understand that these little nutrients that are missing are important for you to function and for your child and grandchild and maybe your adult person that you are caregiving for. These are very important. And, I know we're so stuck on giving everybody cake for their birthday, but maybe you could just make them a beautiful birthday meal. Diane Greco-Allen, and we could work together on that if you want to work with me to come up with a meal that would be a wonderful birthday meal, or maybe I could come and help you create that birthday meal. Diane Greco-Allen, Food Relationship Coach. Please check out my channel and some of the other topics. This is actually just coming up against all the different SpectraCell Laboratory downloads that you can access. And also, it's a piggyback from my previous video. Have a great day and reach out if you have any questions.